Hello again, welcome to our channel. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we're going to give our early August garden tour, a full garden tour. Our garden is built on a hillside. We're starting off this morning on our top patio. Nadja and I have just been having tea on our top patio. From our top patio there's a view of the whole of our garden. We're now just going to show you a brief summary of what our garden looks like from our top patio.
Yes. Lovely and sunny.
We've come down from our top patio, and the first area that we come to is where we have two gravel beds. Both of these gravel beds need some work done on them, they need some improvement, but we're quite pleased with them, and they provide a lovely contrast with some of the other things that we've got in our garden. Just beyond the gravel beds we have our background bed. Our background bed has looked absolutely glorious for a lot of the summer. The crocosmias have been absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, they're now past their best. There are just a few left, but most of them have now gone. I'm afraid that they were very badly affected by the heat and the sun. But there are still lots of glorious flowers on our background bed. We have rudbeckias, we have phloxes, we have heleniums, a wide range of flowers, beautiful salvia, geraniums. And so the overall effect we are still quite pleased with, but it was a lot better earlier on when the crocosmias were in full blossom. This bed here is where we put lots of lovely summer bulbs. You can see that we have some quite spectacular dahlias at the moment. Unfortunately, some have just gone past their best a little bit, but even so we do have some rather beautiful dahlias. Here we have our rose bed. Most of the roses at the moment, unfortunately, are not showing a lot of flowers. A few, not that many, but there are lots of other very beautiful plants on the bed that are really looking very, very good at the moment. Again, some different types of rudbeckias. We've got a phlox there. There are some dahlias along the front, bedding begonias, a real range of plants. Osteospermums up in this corner. So, although the roses are not flowering that much just at the moment, there's lots of other colour to keep it going in our rose bed. Here we have our orchard in a confined space. The 6 cotton trees that we planted earlier in the year have survived. You can see that 1 or 2 of them are actually bearing some very lovely fruit at the moment. The soft fruit in the containers that we put in has done quite well. We have some lovely gooseberries. We were quite pleased with that. And we had a nice crop of strawberries in the pots around the outside as well. So this small orchard area has actually been very productive, and we're quite pleased with how it's going. Here we're walking past some of the plants that we put into pots earlier in the season. And we've come now to the herb garden in pots. If you remember, some months ago we planted up a number of herbs, many of which we'd grown from seed. And Nadja has been using lots and lots of these lovely herbs in her cooking. These are just outside the kitchen, really convenient for her to collect. 3 of the pots have been refreshed, some are still the same as they were earlier on. We're on the patio and we're now walking around showing the border to our patio. It's quite a lovely picture at the moment because the rudbeckias are beautiful And the bedding begonias along the front that edge it are also very attractive as well. So this border is quite long, it goes all the way around the patio. Those rudbeckias, beautiful. We've come now to our late cropping potatoes. These are potatoes that were put in quite recently. The ones that I'm showing you here are the most advanced ones, but there are some here that haven't even come up yet. And there are ones over on this side that have just started to show through. These are our late cropping potatoes that are going to hopefully give us some lovely new potatoes deep into the autumn. We're going to probably be putting these into the polytunnel to protect them later on. Our second cropping, late cropping potatoes. Here we have potatoes in buckets. Earlier in the season we put 55 buckets full of potatoes, and these are some that we've still got left. These are mainly main crop, some second, earlies, our potatoes. We did plant some potatoes in the ground as well. So this bed here is of main crop potatoes that were planted directly into the ground. We've been doing a bit of an experiment to see which we thought were coming out the best, and certainly the potatoes in the bucket seem to have cropped better and seem to be in better condition than the ones that we put into the ground. In front of us here we have our main brassica cage. We've had a lovely crop of early season brassicas. We've done really well with our cauliflowers, calabres and cabbages. Further on in the cage towards the end you can see some Brussels sprouts and some later cropping brassicas as well. We've been really pleased with what's happened so far. In this raised bed we have our onions, some of our onions at the front. At the back we have some of our strawberries. Obviously the strawberries are long gone. The onions will soon be ready to be harvested. We're already using some with our cooking. We're quite pleased. At the front of this bed we sowed some seeds in July to show the sort of crops that could still be planted in July, and some of them have done quite well. And then at the back we've got lots of different types of beans. These are some late beans that we're hoping will give us a crop in a month's time, and we're quite pleased with them as well. This bed here is a mixture of different crops. We have some French beans at the front. We then go on to some late peas, onto some more beans, some climbing French beans, and then there's some corn at the back, and there's one of Nadji's beautiful gorgeous sunflowers. We really like sunflowers. And at the back we've got some raspberries. We're picking raspberries at the moment. This bed here contains our early runner beans. We've been really pleased with the crop that we've had so far. We then go on to some climbing French beans, some various salad crops, and there's some courgettes at the end. And the courgettes have been doing really well. In fact, we're being a little bit lax in picking the courgettes. We need to do some more harvesting. We're now going into one of our greenhouses where we have our early tomatoes. The hot weather seems to have really suited our tomatoes, and we're pleased with the crop that we've had. We've been eating tomatoes for several weeks now, and there are going to be tomatoes for quite a long time in here, hopefully. And right at the far end we've got some sweet potatoes as well. This is the longest of our raised vegetable beds. A real mixture of crops in here. There's some beans at the end, there's some salad crops, a wide range of salad crops, salad onions. You can see lettuces. Then we come down to this end where we've got some leeks, and then we've got Nadji's pride and joy, her pumpkins. She very much wants to show you her pumpkins and the progress that they are making.
Ow, ow, ow.
into the polytunnel. We've got a wide range of crops in here. At the moment Nige is focusing on peppers and chilies and aubergines, crops such as that. Further down we've got some strawberries. We've got some late tomatoes and
Oh
cucumbers
yes,
down
late
at this
cucumbers
end.
here.
We've put some in really late to try to extend the season as far as we possibly can.
Oh, small tomatoes.
Yep. Yep. Cherry type tomatoes.
Ah, cherry types, yeah, of course. Oh, we need to harvest
Up here is
again.
our main crop of cucumbers. These are the ones that have been in for some time. We've been picking cucumbers for absolutely ages. I'm really pleased with them. Up in the corner there's a carrot box where we've been getting some carrots, and now Nige is going to show you another one of her pride and joys, her ginger plant.
Yes, lovely.
Ginger from a supermarket that was planted. So now we're at the front of the garden, in our front garden. We're just giving a perspective all the way around at the moment before we then start to move up closer. So we're moving in closer to our old apple tree.
They're still small, but it's fine.
The apples are still quite small, but they're making progress. We're quite pleased with this old Bramley apple tree. And we're now moving on to our circular beds of begonias. Hopefully you will remember us planting these begonias earlier in the season and being really pleased with the display that they're showing now. They're really, really beautiful. We like these bedding begonias so much because they provide a beautiful show of colour and they do not need deadheading. They're strong, tough, reliable. They don't mind the weather too much and they just don't need deadheading. Wonderful. We're now moving on towards our fruit orchard, our main fruit orchard. We've got a good crop of apples. The last time that we did one of these tours, we thinned out the apples on this tree, and it looks as though they're going to need thinning out again. This is our Braeburn, a beautiful apple, and again I think we're going to have to do a little bit of thinning. If we move up, we go up to the Coxes, and then we're going up to plums. Oh, look at this crop of gauges. These are old-fashioned gauges. And we do really have a lovely crop of them. They're doing so well. Now we're moving on again up to some Victorias.
Yum, yum.
Yeah,
Ready.
Victoria plum tree. Some of them are even starting to change colour a little bit.
Oh, this one is
And then
fuzzy.
finally we'll go up to the Marjorie seedling.
It's
Another
didn't
really
harvest it,
old variety. Oh, we're going to have to do some thinning out, darling. That's just going to all fall off.
but they're lovely.
Yeah, so we really do need to do some thinning out. They really are changing colour quite quickly, these plums. So we're now looking at the borders going up our driveway. The border is a mixed border of perennials and annual bedding. And we're quite pleased with how it is producing at the moment. Looks quite nice. We have some lovely perennials. Complemented with some really pretty annual bedding.
Yellow. Lovely.
Coming back down this side. Lovely Crocosmia, Echinaceas. Up here we have the border in front of our wall, mainly a mixture of the Rudbeckias and the bedding begonias at the front. The Rudbeckias are really starting to be a lovely picture at the moment. Here we have the fountain in the middle of our front lawn and the bedding around the outside. Front of the house we have some more pots and our gravel garden at this one side. One of our hanging baskets, mixture of petunias and begonias. Nudge's Christmas tree needs repotting, Nudge. Some more pots right at the front of the house. These are mainly annual bedding, such as geraniums and begonias. We've also got some roses here. Unfortunately, they're not flowering very much just at the moment. Hopefully they will come again. Another one of our hanging baskets. There are some beautiful colours in this hanging basket. Really, really beautiful colours. And here we have another one of our hanging baskets with our petunias and our begonias. Well, thank you so much for watching our early August garden tour. It's been a real pleasure showing you our garden, showing you the flowers and the crops and the fruit that we have got. We hope that you've enjoyed it, and we hope that you will join us again very soon. Thank you very much for your support. It's much appreciated. I wish that we could share some of the lovely plums with you.